Under supervision of the SS, German scientists tested some form of a nuclear weapon in the spring of 1945, and several hundred prisoners of war are alleged to have died as a result. The weapon in question was not a standard nuclear weapon powered by nuclear fission, but something closer to either a radiological weapon, a so-called dirty bomb, or a hybrid nuclear fusion weapon. Hitler's Bomb is a non-fiction book by the German historian Rainer Karlsch, published in March 2005, which claims to have evidence concerning the development and testing of a possible nuclear weapon by Germany in 1945. The book claims that this nuclear test happened close to the German town of Ohrdruf, in the Jonastal. In the following years, Karlsch has been often criticized for displaying a catastrophic lack of understanding of physics, while Karlsch himself has acknowledged that he lacked absolute proof for the claims made in his book. However, the history of the location of the alleged nuclear test is more than interesting. Jonastal, or Jonas Valley, is situated in the Ilm-Kreis district between Krainkl and Arnstadt, near to the town of Ohrdruf. It was a scene of military construction under the National Socialist regime during the last years of the Second World War. Thousands of prisoners from the Buchenwald concentration camp were forced to dig 25 tunnels into the surrounding mountain, and the whole operation was performed under the strictest secrecy. The site was not completed and construction was abandoned before the end of the war. It was one of the many Third Reich construction projects that was started but never finished. This project had several code names, depending on what part was meant, and the names also changed over time, but generally it was called Jonastal S-3. The main works were dug in two sections into a hill forming the north side of the Jonas Valley, between Krainkl and Arnstadt. This part of the project was reportedly intended as a last-ditch headquarters facility for Hitler and his staff, should they fall back from Berlin into the interior of Germany. Other theories say this or a nearby site were intended for production of the Intercontinental America rocket. It was proposed to use an advanced version of the A-9 to attack targets on the U.S. mainland from launch sites in Europe, for which it would need to be launched atop a booster stage, the A-10. Design work on the A-10 began in 1940, for a projected first flight to take place in 1946. Other sources state that the complex would have served as an underground factory to produce the revolutionary Horten Ho 229 jet fighter. In reality, most of the Jonastal complex never advanced much further than the tunnel digging stage. The exact purpose of this facility remains in doubt. Ohrdruf and the nearby Jonas Valley were captured by American troops on April 4, 1945, by the 4th Armored Division and the 89th Infantry Division. The camp was the first Nazi concentration camp liberated by the U.S. Army. At the end of the war, the Soviet Army, which took over the site from the Americans, immediately classified it as a restricted zone and then used it as a military training ground. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, the site was taken over by the German armed forces, who continue to use the area. In 1962, East German officials interviewed contemporary witness who claimed to have sighted atomic weapons tests in March 1945. Clara Werner, for example, a former administrator of the adjacent West-Waxenberg, assured officials that she had seen a glowing light, as bright as hundreds of bolts of lightning, red inside and yellow on the outside, on March 4, 1945. Werner went on to describe how a powerful squall had moved across the mountains. The next day, she said, she and others in the areas had had nosebleeds, headaches, and sensations of pressure in their ears. She also claimed that she had heard another loud noise on March 12, 1945. It seems that the book by Rainer Karlsch is based mainly on these post-war statements. After the war, the area has also been searched for the legendary Amber Room. The Amber Room was located in the Catherine Palace in Tsarskoye Selo near St. Petersburg. It was a spectacularly beautiful room, sometimes called the Eighth Wonder of the World. The Amber Room was looted during World War II by Nazi Germany and brought to Königsberg. Knowledge of its whereabouts was lost in the chaos at the end of the war. Jonastal itself remains within a military training area and entry is strictly prohibited. This, however, does not prevent the site from being regularly visited by explorers and would-be treasure hunters who risk arrest and a fine if caught. Monuments have been erected in Jonastal and nearby and are dedicated to the victims of the nearby Ohrdruf camp. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and to make sure you don't miss my future work, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and press the bell notification button. Thank you, and see you in the next video.